Malta, the land of honey. Since ancient times, this Mediterranean island is connected to the production of this unique bee-made ingredient. This is something that tourists usually know when they arrive on the island. But is the Maltese population aware of its country heritage?
Malta has a long time been associated with honey. In fact, the word Malta derives from Melite, which means honey in Greek.
It's still possible to find traces from the past. In Chemshia, located on the north of the island, stands an apiary built by the Romans 2000 years ago.
In fact, we have even places in Maltese which have their name referred to the honey industry. Like we have one name in Mjiba in the north of the island. Mjiba means where you grow honey, the hives of the older type cut in the rock. So we have a lot of places in Malta where the rocks were cut out during the Roman and even before the Roman period, where honey used to be grown.
Time has passed, circumstances changed, and now the Maltese honey industry is being hunted by several threats. Everything started in the early 90s, when the bee industry had its first setback.
In 1992, when Varroa was discovered, it was probably accidentally brought over by someone who may have imported some queen bees from Europe, from the mainland. And by accident this was introduced, and a huge number of colonies were lost, a huge number. I do not know the exact figures. I think someone has said 3/4 of the hives were destroyed.
Because of the traditional way in keeping bees, using the clay pots, where there wasn't the actual frame removal, which would have made it easier for inspection of the bees, the disease was not noticed immediately and straight away, and unfortunately the colonies were affected beyond the point where they could be effectively have their varroa mites removed.
They were very seriously affected, and the problem was that we could see them dwindling right in front of our eyes, and we could not know why they are doing, what is happening.
Bee population never recovered to its original numbers after the appearance of parasite varroa. But why should bee Maltese worried about the bees? Well, probably because bees pollinate more than 2/3 of what we eat.
Pollination is the basis of reproduction in flowering plants. So the plants, like other organisms, have to transfer their male seam part into their female part. This part is done either by wind or by insects. Insects transfer pollen, their male part, onto the ovary, their female part.
Currently, bees are declining throughout the world, which can bring serious consequences.
It depends on pollination, okay, and the bees are one of the major pollinators. So if we lose the bee population, okay, then the ecology as a whole will suffer, because pollination, okay, will decrease and new seeds will not develop from many wild plants.
Apart from diseases, urbanization and other human actions are contributing to the decline of bees.
A lot of building is coming up, even in the countryside sometimes, and that is also causing problems for the for those who are growing bees for the hives. There is also problems because some farmers do not like to have bees in their area. Okay, so sometimes there is a minor conflict between the beekeeper and the farmer.
These problems are affecting the honey industry, that became smaller than ever before.
Beekeeping, it's becoming economically not feasible in general. Many people that used to work agriculture, their children are leaving the agriculture industry and doing other jobs because it is hard and it is not worthwhile. So most of the agriculture done today and locally, there is some of it that is a full-time job, but most of it is a part-time or a hobby job. So all these conflicting things obviously contribute to the decline in apiculture.
Clearly, apiculture needs a boost, something or someone on the beekeeper side, and that's where you, the consumer, come in.
I'm very proud to be a Maltese, that's the first thing. But what I am ashamed of is that when foreigners and tourists come to Malta, they instantly show you the appreciation and remind you of the value of the Maltese products, while the local public just ignore it. We as Maltese, unfortunately, have the tendency to not appreciate, but enjoy buying stuff that comes from abroad, even regarding fruit, for example, and they glorify the stuff that comes from abroad, when actually, when you taste the local produce, maybe it doesn't look as good and doesn't look as much nice, for example fruit, but when you taste it, you see the difference. You see that the Maltese produce is made out of direct, hot heat, sunlight, and basically you have all the energy of the heat that is produced naturally in your product. So what I think we should do is learn from the tourists that come. Why are they appreciating our product so much, and why can't we appreciate the same thing? I think as an island we do survive on tourists, but first we have to appreciate ourselves to be appreciated by others.
Well known abroad, Maltese honey is one of the best natural ingredients produced on the island.
We believe that the Maltese product is extremely high quality. It has some beekeepers even have managed to get prices in overseas competitions with the quality of the product they can harvest, and this makes I think Malta, the island of honey, proud of what it can produce. Unfortunately, Malta, we have no natural resources. Honey, as the name suggests, is the best resource that we could actually have.
But like other resources in the past, honey is being manipulated by people outside the industry, putting beekeepers on a difficult situation.
Importers who buy honey from outside the EU, which is inferior, and bottle it and sell it off and label it as Maltese honey.
Blended honey destroys apiculture from my point of view. If you want to produce blended honey or artificial honey, let's say artificial honey, it's no problem for me, but please label it that is artificial honey. Some people do prefer it. I know locally people that say, I love this type of honey. If that is so, but give the customer the choice to actually recognize what he is buying. To prevent these mishaps, I personally would like to see a form of a standard procedure when they actually can test the honey and can verify to the particular apiculturist that this is good original honey without any artificial procedures.
This study is already being developed by the University of Malta in association with Golden Iceland.
This study is with the title Molecular Characterization of Maltese Honey. This is the first study in-depth study of the Maltese honey. We are collecting samples from various localities and seasons of the Maltese honey. In Malta, we have 3 honey seasons. It is the summer, autumn and spring seasons of honey. So from every season we are collecting about 20 samples and doing an in-depth study of the physical chemical characteristics of these honeys.
Together with the University of Malta, our project where we are analyzing honeys from different locations is helping us to identify newer areas or areas which could produce honeys which would be more interesting and more economical.
So at the end we would have sort of not an official certificate, but it can be used at the end of the project by the Maltese authorities if they want to authenticate their Maltese honey.
The first step to save the honey industry was this study. The second is guaranteeing a new generation of beekeepers.
To improve our beekeeping in industry, maybe the government can start subsidiary programs, doing courses, giving some financial aid to new beekeepers and also to the ones established. And by this means, I think some people can start up this part-time business in Malta. So if there is a bit of incentive from the government, okay, I think new people will come into this industry.
We are encouraging students, especially those at the MCAST Agricultural School, Agro-Business School, to take up beekeeping, both as a part-time and possibly even a full-time.
After all their losses, beekeepers are still trying to keep an ancient industry alive. All they need is a bit of support from you.